change things.
Welcome back to another episode of Stratford Vibe Exchange. I'm your host, Karim Rushdy. We're recording out of Fresh and Free Studios inside of Nancy Campbell Academy, downtown Stratford, Ontario. I'm super pumped today because I got my former student, but I guess once a student, always a student, Gabby. Welcome.
Thank you.
How you feeling today?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So good. Now that we have our peppermint teas,
I know.
I think things are going to go smooth.
Smooth groove.
But we were talking about your forgetfulness. Yeah. Because you're going to bring in some of your paintings, but forgot.
Yeah, that's a very typical thing with me.
But
it's
then
one of my
we were saying
greatest struggles.
It's a greatest struggle, but also a superpower.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's okay. And it allows you to learn detachment.
Yep.
Like, whoops, forgot.
That's right.
Have you forgotten any very important things?
I forgot I had a shift one time.
Oh, snap.
Slept through the entire shift.
Okay. Yeah,
I was also burnt out, so.
Oh, yeah.
There's that.
That affects the mind.
Yeah.
In a great way.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, Gabby, you were a student here at Nancy Campbell.
My second home.
Second home.
Yeah.
And then you graduated, and you never left.
I never left.
You stayed.
I stayed.
And you're still here.
And I'm still here.
And you're doing incredible things.
Yeah.
You're painting, you're modeling. We have to get a counter going. Singing, songwriting, fashion design. I mean, you're pursuing many things.
Yeah. I think there's no one thing when it comes to my interests. I have so many interests, and I think each thing gives me a different feel, And for me, I'm an emotional person, so a lot of my emotions are poured into the things that I like to do.
Right.
If I only write a song if I'm not feeling up for whatever it is in the day, if I'm upset or I'm happy or, but it comes with a rush of emotions for some reason, but it really helps me to channel whatever I'm feeling. I think it's my safe space. So that's with songwriting for me. And then with modeling, it's just always something that I've always been interested in. And, I've always been scared to do it, especially with body positivity and just afraid to get out, just jump into that world because it's so complicated.
Yeah.
But I can create my, the way I want to model or songwrite or, I have that power to do that. So for me,
whoa, that's huge.
I don't try to let any anything that's being that you have to do it this way or you have to I don't have to be this pitch perfect or I don't have to be placed into a box kind of thing.
Right.
And I also want to be as positive as possible so that the world can see that there's a space for anyone and everyone. So yeah,
that's incredible. It sounds like you're talking about that image that society has that we all feel that we need to fit into, kind of fitting into a mold almost, or a formulaic approach to who we are as people. But you're saying that you've somehow learned, and that's an interesting question, is how did you learn to break free from that? Because you mentioned body positivity. So that means you were seeing one type of image of a person. Yeah. And you didn't see yourself fit into that.
Yeah.
And that was probably very tough. And so, but now you're just out there doing your thing with a smile.
Yes.
So I'm just saying that because that's something we all face in different ways.
Yeah. For sure, I feel like there's a lot of pressure from society and societal norms, and there's always a box, but there's so many different boxes, and it's you can get lost in that. You can get your identity can become you can question it because you don't know where you fit in, but really and truly you fit in within yourself, in my opinion. I feel like there's just so much that you could say that you want to do, but then there's so many variables within that thing. It's where do you fit? And I just want especially our younger generation, to be like unapologetically themselves, as long as they're being positive and, you know, good and contributing to society. But
so you're talking about a value set.
Yeah.
So like be yourself within a framework of some kind. Okay.
Yeah. I guess maybe that's also another box, but hey, at least that's, Well, that's interesting, because if we have, some people talk about freedom as if it means I get to do anything I want, whenever I want, to anyone I want, and say what I want. And I don't think that's freedom. I think that's anarchy. Yeah.
And, you know, there are people who believe in anarchy. And so, you know, that's something.
That's that.
But what I believe, you know, where I come from, is the concept that actually a set of rules actually gives us true freedom.
Yeah.
For example, take roads. If everyone just drove their car however they wanted, like, no, I want to drive on the sidewalk, you know, or I want to go on that side of the road. And I want to go 200 kilometers an hour in a school zone, you know, and it's my right, and I have freedom. More people would die.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and so
there's
some
consequences,
people still break the rules and do things they shouldn't, but at least the rules are there. So if the rules get broken, there can be jail time and consequences. And so generally people stop at red lights. Generally, you know. You know what I mean? And so it creates actually a sense of actual freedom. We are free by these limitations.
Right.
It's interesting. But then I guess the other side of that is there are some types of limitations that are oppressive. So,
that's right.
So that's another
oppression.
We just opened a whole can of worms.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's huge.
A big one.
And that is what you actually started with, was one of the ways is from the world of media and marketing.
Yep.
Because they actually start by telling us we're ugly.
Yeah.
And then showing us an image of beauty that's unattainable through Photoshop and all that. It's literally impossible to look that way. But then if you buy this product, then you might be able to look like that.
Yeah.
But you never actually will, for real.
It will never happen.
Yeah.
Ever.
So that's an oppressive limitation.
Yeah.
So interesting. There's different types of limitation. I find for me with creativity, if I limit myself with time, my creativity explodes.
I see.
Like if I say, hey, Gabby, write a song. How long are you going to take?
So for me, it takes me a while. I can write a song in one day. I can write a song in a year. You know, it just depends on that song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if I say, hey, Gabby, you and me, we're going to write a song together, and we're going to do it in 30 minutes. And we don't care what it sounds like or what it's like, or we'll make it about tea, you know, peppermint tea. Let's make a song right now. You know?
And tea. Peppermint tea.
See, we just made a song in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It may not be the best song. It may not be Beyonce.
Yeah.
But it's a song, and we made it.
Exactly.
And so that's the power of that limitation of time. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
So I want to hear a little bit about your experience as a student at Nancy Campbell, because you mentioned the young generation, but in my mind, you are the young generation. But there's
younger than me.
There's younger than you. Yeah.
I feel like the stage before you hit my age group is so transformative. Like there's so much going on, and there's a lot to figure out. And for me, I feel like that ended when I was 19. So yeah, for me personally, I tell a lot of people, like after 19, it's like you better have had it almost figured out, because I don't have anything figured out at this point. I mean, look at the amount of things I'm interested in. But my experience at Nancy Campbell, like, you know, everyone knows Nancy Campbell is my second home. I am originally from Guyana.
That's right. Shout out
in
Guyana.
South America.
Shout out Guyana.
To all my Guyanese people. And the first place I landed when I came to Canada was Nancy Campbell, you know, and it's just so welcoming, so nurturing. And Nancy Campbell opened me up to so many things, like the things that I'm so interested in. I've developed those skills and the bravery to like be out there and do it. I'm not even joking. Like, it was Nancy Campbell that allowed me to just be brave enough to be creative, because I think while I was in Guyana, there wasn't a lot of room for creativity. You know, we take pride in like being educated, and education for us and being successful. The creative world is not really a part of that. And that's okay too. But I'm just lucky enough to have had that experience here at NCA to, you know, to tap into my creative side.
Right.
And then I just blew myself away because I didn't know I had it in me.
Wow.
You know, I remember doing my first artwork, and it was like a stick woman. And, you know, I loved my stick woman, but I showed my mom and she was like, you know, but
little
then
more work needed.
Yeah, I just developed, you know, in my art class, and before you know it, like, you just have so much in your head and you want to put it down on paint or drawing or whatever it is, and the space that there is for that, and even outside of the classroom too, you know, like, there's just so much there's so much that you can do and be like encouraged to do outside of school here at Nancy Campbell. So for me, it's just like, I get a burst of emotions when I think about my time here, because like, I was exposed to so much so quick, you know, even being a part of different cultures, because we're an international boarding school. That too, like, opened my eyes to like so many things. Like, there's so many influences, you know, being a part of an international school, living with a bunch of, you know, your schoolmates, being away from home, adapting to a new culture. Like, there's so much of me that comes from Nancy Campbell that will never ever leave. You know, and I considered myself a very Guyanese person. And now there's so much, like, there's some Japanese. I had a really close Japanese friend. Like, there's some Chinese, there's some Persian, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much within me now that I can never let go of, that I, you know, got the chance to experience here at Nancy Campbell.
It's so interesting because it's a small school in a small town of Stratford, surrounded by dairy farms, you know, and technically in the middle of nowhere is where we're sitting right now.
Basically.
But you got to meet the world. You know, it's so interesting. And we have that too with the Stratford Festival. We got people coming in from all over the place to check out the plays and all that. But it's actually almost a little known fact, our school. Like, for you and me, it's just normal. You know, but even in our own town of Stratford, there's people who don't even know about the school. Or are just wonder, like, what's that building? You know? And so it's very profound, I feel, to have you share as someone who's actually been a student here what it's been like for you, you know? So thank you for sharing.
For sure.
And I wanted to hear also, you mentioned adapting to the culture. And so Stratford has its own culture that's ever changing and evolving, just like anywhere else. But what was maybe your like, maybe like a funny moment, or your greatest struggle, or a memory where you were kind of shocked about the culture in Stratford? If you can think of one, because that was how many years ago now? That
was 5 years.
5? That's it?
Yeah, just 5 years.
Feels like 10.
It feels like forever. I know. I think I adapted well. That's the reason.
That's the reason, yeah. I just feel like you've always been here. Okay. Well, 5 years is significant.
Yeah, it is. It's a long time, you know, and I've only been back to Guyana once. So I feel like that also has like a role to play. Like, I just had to make this my second home. You know, Nancy Campbell, Stratford. I haven't really been anywhere else. So I lived in Brampton for a little while, and
I remember that.
I was like, no, I am leaving home again. So I'm going back. I think leaving home was a bit traumatizing. I'm not going to lie, as much as I really wanted to leave, you know, for this opportunity to study at Nancy Campbell, and later on, you know, just creating or building my own life here as a young woman by myself, no family, no nothing. So,
well, you have a dog.
Well, I had a dog.
Well, what happened to your dog?
I don't have him anymore. I had to give him up because it was too...
Okay, but he's
it was
alive.
too much. He is alive.
Okay, I thought your dog died.
He's just not with me.
Oh, man. It
But
was
I
a
am
close
gonna...
call. Gucci, right?
Yeah, Mr. Gucci.
Mr. Gucci.
Oh, Mr. Gucci, so cute. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Who knew me or who knows me know that Gucci was my everything.
Yeah.
You see me with Gucci like that.
Yeah.
He's always like in my arm or something. But yeah.
Okay.
But adapting to the culture. I know this is like really funny, but it's something that I will never forget. And it's not a big deal, but the biggest shock was the breakfast. My first breakfast that I had here. I am not like joking at this moment, but I cried.
Really?
I cried because I missed home and
what
the
was
food.
it? Scrambled eggs?
It was scrambled eggs, pancakes, and hash browns.
Hash browns, the
and
classic.
The like breakfast sausages.
Breakfast sausages, yeah.
Listen, our sausage in Guyana is basically a hot dog. Like instead of calling it a hot dog, we call it sausage. We call it sausage, right? So. The eggs were not done the way my mom would do it, or like and I've had pancakes, but the pancakes wasn't a problem. It was the hash browns and the eggs. But listen, I love hash browns now. It's like whenever I go out to eat, it's one of the things that I have to have.
Interesting. So that thing that made you cry is the thing that you now need.
Yeah. I looked at my breakfast and I was like, I can't do this. Like, how am I going to survive?
Right.
Here, I called my family back home, my mom, my dad, and I was like, I don't know what I got myself into. Like, my very first breakfast here, I was stressing.
Wow.
But I just grew to love everything. Like, you have to have an open mind, too. And I think the shock factor of, like, oh, I'm somewhere else also plays a role into, like, you know?
No, big time.
Yeah. But that's one of the biggest, like, I guess was food in that sense. But also, like, not, like, the diversity of Stratford was very limited. Like, there weren't many people that look like me. I'd be even surprised to see, like, one other, like, person of African descent. And I'm like, I get so excited. I'm like, there's some melanin.
There's some melanin.
Right? But we had that at Nancy Campbell. So I always felt that, you know, I'm good and I'm fine. Because in Guyana, it's not really like affected me that much. But it's just that where I grew up, we have 6 different races in Guyana, you know? And there's just like so much culture with that. So for me, it was very interesting to be in a place where like there's not many of what I've seen growing up, but that also helped me to learn people of a certain kind, Stratford people, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it was a blessing for me to like be able to put myself in, you know, in a place where I don't see a lot of me or I don't see a lot of what I grew up in, but I can still be open to, you know, interacting or doing things with or just being a part of, you know. And I did feel very welcomed for the most part, especially at Nancy Campbell. But, you know, there's struggles everywhere. And, you know, there's things that I've experienced that weren't so kind, but that's okay. Like, that's a part of the journey. Like, everyone experiences, you know, there's no one person that has ever like had a life where they don't experience something that's not kind or welcoming or.
But you're talking about someone being unkind to you in Stratford because of the way you look. Yeah. Well, I would say, I mean, it's powerful for you to share that. But I think, and I'm grateful for that. But I think there are people who actually do go through life not experiencing that kind of unkindness.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
for
there
sure.
is.
Yeah, if you're raised in a certain confinement,
that's true.
You could say, and you're not exposed to different types of people, then, you know, and maybe you are also have a value set that might be misguided, let's say. to put it lightly, then you may never experience that unkindness, and then therefore you're giving it to others. Yeah. Because you don't even understand
of exposure,
what a human being is.
Yeah.
It's a basic concept. But for me, I've traveled a lot, and I am a blend. Yeah. And so the interesting thing for my story is when I was in junior high and high school in Alberta, in Canada, small town, just like Stratford, I was one of the dark-skinned kids. And look, put us together. Like, see, I'm the white guy around you.
In comparison.
But around in that school, it was like there was 5 of us, and I was definitely not fitting in. Right. And I was even called racial slurs all the time.
And no, for sure. I remember you telling me that, and that gave me not comfort that you experienced it. But it kind of made me feel like, hey, you are not alone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. 100%. And that too, like for some reason, I felt as though people of African descent, in my experience, were the only group of people that experienced that. But coming here, like you said, like for me too, there wasn't much exposure. Like I was just exposed to what I was exposed to in Guyana. And whenever I traveled, it was in the Caribbean. So it was very similar, you know? True. So like, I didn't know that all Asian people are not Chinese. You know, that is something, that is now one of my biggest things that I learned, right? And I feel like sometimes it's not people's intention to be unkind. Yes. It's just what we were exposed to. It's what we heard. It's what we see on the media, you know? And it is good to take time and educate yourself, but sometimes you just don't know. Yeah. So just give everyone like some grace, like, you know, like just be kind back.
That's powerful.
Like it is what it is. It's our world. It's unfortunately like I consider myself a world citizen, but I have not seen all of the world, you know? Right. Like I don't know what is acceptable in this culture. I can go to a country and travel and do something that's like completely like totally disrespectful. And I wouldn't know that. Yes. So
and you'd have to find out.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like sometimes, for the most part, I feel like too, no one wants to be having like hatred in their heart. I feel like sometimes they just don't know. And that's okay.
That's a huge point. Yeah. And I love your approach. Your approach seems to be like approaching something that can easily become divisive. Yeah. But you're saying let's approach it with grace, and maybe people don't know, and you know, let's just be loving. You know, sounds like to me that's powerful. So where did you get that approach from, do you think?
I think it was my faith, like, you know, the Baha'i faith. I think just thinking about how Baha'u'llah, you know, his image for us, or, you know, his wish for us as the human race, like to love all and to accept all, you know, and regardless of what, because we're all born noble, right? And it's those influences in life and society that gives us these like views or these thoughts or, you know, whatever it is. So I always try to keep that in mind. And there is someone that I call my Canadian mom, and she, whenever like she goes into conflict with someone, she's also a Baha'i. Whenever she goes into conflict to someone, she would always say, I'll send them love. You know, every single time.
Send them love.
Yeah. And
let's make t-shirts.
Yeah. Send them love. And for me, I interpret that as no matter what, that person could be having a bad day. And I'm not going to lie, we're still human. We can still get frustrated and feel those emotions. But it's what we do with those emotions. Right. And that's the thing that I was kind of like tapping into with my creative process. Like, whenever I'm feeling an emotion, instead of, especially if it's towards another person, I try to like bottle it up and then like channel it somewhere else, you know, but emotions do get the best of you sometimes. So, but it's just like,
that's where all your creative ventures come into. When those emotions bottle up, then you can release them in a very healthy way. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. It's amazing. I think it's good for people to know where you get these things from. Yeah. You know, because it's not easy. to stay positive and loving in a world that's filled with hate and, you know, division. There is also lots of beautiful things happening. But it's like you mentioned the media earlier. So if you turn on the internet, or I was going to say turn on the TV, but no one does that. If you turn on your phone, so which is always on. Yeah. So every time you look at your phone, there's a potential chance you're going to be fed like a micro message of hate.
It's true.
And so it's a constant battle.
Yeah.
And so where do we get our strength from to stay positive, to stay happy even, you know, to have an outlook that's global in nature, but locally focused.
Yeah.
You know, and so it sounds like yours comes from your faith, which we do share that faith. And so I have similar inspiration with you, and that's really interesting. But I wanted to share one other thing too. So I've experienced that in St. Albert, Alberta. But then when I went to India, it was the opposite. I was the white boy, you know? And
that would
so
make sense.
it was messing with my mind.
You're confused.
And I was like, so who am I?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So, but either way, I'm not welcome.
Yeah.
I don't fit in. And I'm just this outsider, you know? So I've always had that feeling of being the other.
Yeah.
And actually one of the only places I felt like I belong is this school, Nancy Campbell. Because here, everyone is different, and like, you don't have a choice but to
just be a part of,
be who you are. It's like, you know, because this person's from there and that person's from there and that person's from there and there, and and it's not like we're all coexisting. We're actually becoming close because we're such a small group. So you have no choice.
Right.
So the conditions are perfect for unity in diversity. You know, preserving your diversity but building that unity. So that's, I think, why I'm still here.
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason.
You're like, I'm the most me here.
Yeah. And this is where I'm able to really thrive. So I'm really grateful for that. And I love hearing stories of like yours where you're also feeling that energy and, you know, ability to thrive.
For sure. Like, I definitely feel like there was like a lot of me that was just bottled up, and like even like my culture, like, you know, but just being so welcomed here, and, you know, everyone wanting to learn, everyone wanting to like dive into the 30 different cultures, you know. So it was a great experience. I feel like everyone should be able to experience life at Nancy Campbell.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
So quick question, slightly different, incredibly different actually. Totally changed. What goes through your mind when you're modeling, when you're taking pictures?
Oh my God.
The pictures are being taken of you. I've always wondered, because when someone goes to take a picture of me, I get really awkward and I don't know what to do.
See, if we're talking about taking photos, if there's someone that is just like a regular person, you're taking a photo of me, I get really awkward. I would get awkward. I'd be like, I don't know what to do.
The fake smile.
Yeah. They're like, eh. But when I am in front of like an actual photographer and I am just, you know, I'm in that zone where I feel confident, you know, and I just do what my body feels like doing. You know, I actually do not know where it stems from. It just, I guess, it's something that I've always wanted to do. So when I got that drive to actually put in the work to start modeling, it's like no one can hold me back now. If I'm in that space, I'm in that space.
That's amazing.
So
wow.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the legitimacy of the camera.
Of the camera.
And the photographer. Yeah. So you know it's gonna look good too.
Yeah.
So that brings out this sort of performance in a way. Do you feel it's like a performance?
I do feel like it's a performance. And for me, what it means for me personally is I get to just show myself in the way I stand or the way I move or the pose I make. So for me, it's like showing me off. It's a bit frivolous, but, you know, I feel like there should be some sort of frivolity in your life, I guess, or things that you like to do that involves yourself.
Yeah.
And that's my one thing for myself, you know. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it's frivolous, but you also mentioned you began today by talking about the image of society. And you have struggling with that. So to me, it doesn't seem frivolous at all. It's you conquering your own self in a way.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, that's just what I think.
Yeah.
But,
and there's a lot of like preparation that goes into it too. So that's very important when it comes to modeling. It's like if you don't feel great, you don't feel great in the shoot. Like you just, you're, you know, so I try to do something beforehand to like get myself pumped and ready.
Right.
So yeah, so I can feel my greatest and just be my greatest of me. But it's also not about you sometimes. Like it's about a product, or it's about a commercial, it's about a brand, it's about so many things. Like it's never just about you. You know, if you're doing a self-portrait, then sure, like it's all about Gabby, but yeah. So it's like if you're in love with that product or that like whatever you're modeling for or with, so you
did one that was like fitness wear or something, right?
Yeah, Move Life.
Shout out Move Life.
Move Life. It's my like my baby model. I call him my baby model. Is like the first project that I started on. So yeah.
What was that like?
That was
your heart racing?
My heart was racing. I was like, I cannot believe I am doing this. It came into my lap. Like my very best friend connected me with the brand and the owner of the brand and stuff like that. So when I was connected, I was like, oh my gosh, like my first like go at it. And this is like crazy. But her, like, I just love her brand too. So like that also plays a role in how you're gonna feel comfortable, or if you're gonna be, you know, like you obviously there's things you can turn down and things you can, you know. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Or sometimes you just put yourself out there, like just do it regardless if you don't know who owns the, because I know I'm not all the way there yet. I'm just starting out with my modeling career. So there's going to be people and brands and things and so many things, photographers and spaces that I won't like.
The world is your oyster, so to speak, at this point.
Yeah. So.
And you did some local work too, because Move Life is not a Stratford thing, right?
So no, it's based in Toronto. The woman that does own Michelle.
Shout out Michelle.
Founder of Move Life. She used to live in Stratford, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
cool. That's
so I think
amazing.
Stratford is her home.
Okay, wicked. Wow.
Yeah.
So some of your work is real local, because I know you also did some stuff with Chris and Claire.
Yes.
And so what was that like?
Oh my gosh, that was like a dream for me, because I've always been like obsessed with Claire's work.
Right.
You know, like her art.
Yeah.
So for me, like I was more so exposed to that, and I remember me, you and her had a meeting about fashion design, because at one point
Ease all threes.
The
brand that never happened.
But you know what,
we should write a book.
We should.
The brand that never happened.
Ease all threes.
Yeah.
So yeah, like for me, it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like meeting up with Claire, and I love her work and stuff. And then she posted a thing, call for models, and she was needing some models for one of her collections, a t-shirt, dresses. And
those are so interesting.
So cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I personally have never seen that form of clothing. Like it's a t-shirt on the top, but a dress on the bottom. And that was cool.
You were just rapping it.
Yeah,
it's a t-shirt on the top, but a dress on the bottom. And that was cool. That's #art by Claire. You can find her here and over there. Hey.
So she
we'll cut that part out.
She was really inspiring to me.
Right.
So it was great to like meet her and chat with her, you know, kind of get like a bit of what she does and how passionate she is about, you know, her art and her clothing and stuff like that. And it's good to see another, you know, person do it, like, you know, just here in Stratford.
Yeah.
And to be like connected to that person too. So yeah, modeling for her was like a dream. I'm not like, she's one of those people that inspire me.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. Also because she's from Stratford, you know? And so it's like you found yourself here.
Yeah.
And then you said you're like, yep, this is my second home. Here I am. This is my home now.
Yeah.
You know? And then who's someone you're looking up to and you're inspired by? Also here.
Yep.
That's so cool to me. That's,
yeah.
you know, and that's part of what this is all about is. And now you think that you're inspired by her, and you are, but you're also inspiring others now.
Yeah.
That's the way the thing works, right? The cycle of inspiration is always really cool. So I think it's time we head over to our Chat GPT section. These questions are crazy. I just told it a little bit about you, and I said, give me 10 questions. So
really?
Check it out.
That's so cool. Okay.
As a multi-talented artist and young influencer in Stratford, how do you envision using your platform to positively impact the local community and empower aspiring artists? My
vision is to just show everyone that there is a space for every creative thing. Like, you know, there's a space for it, and you should be brave enough to show that, you know, show that side of yourself. You know, I want my art to be welcoming. I want it to be vibrant and exciting, you know. I want for people to see my paintings or my content that I created or my modeling or, you know, my photos or whatever it is that I'm doing, my songs that like come from the bottom of my heart most of the time. You know, I want that to inspire people, you know, in whatever light that they take it, because I could have like an image for something, or, you know, I want to portray an idea, but someone interprets it differently, you know. Yeah. I want it to be so broad and big that people could like make it their own, you know? Yeah, so, yeah. Right.
That's amazing. That's super powerful.
Yeah, because
I think Stratford needs your vibrancy.
Yeah,
big time. Yeah, when you're talking about vibrant and colorful and, you know, welcoming, and like that's, in my opinion, that's what we need. Yeah, more of. We have some of it, and it's great, but we need more and more and more and more. Yeah, and it also, to me, the reason I say that is because of what we talked about earlier, that there are these other forces at play. Yes. You know, and so using your platform in this way is powerful. Right. More powerful than you think. Yeah. You know, because you know, for every like you get, there's 10 people who just aren't engaging, but they love it. Yeah. That's the thing. And for every comment of it, praise you get, there's 10 others who are just not doing. Everyone's scrolling like crazy, and people are seeing what you do. You know, people are seeing what we all do, and it has a profound impact. And that's one thing, is how do you find the perseverance, I guess, to create content over the months as they go by?
I think that takes a lot of things, honestly. I feel like for me, I just love content, and it keeps me going, you know. Like I tell everyone knows, like, I cannot live without TikTok.
TikTok for life.
And TikTok helps me, you know. I get to create like what comes up on my page too, like whatever I search and I like, you know. So I know that there's like some things that I want to put out there that I know would either inspire or just like add a bit of positivity to someone's day. So that is what drives me, I guess.
Amazing. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. You excel in various creative fields. It's as if it knows you. Yeah. From songwriting to fashion designing, how do you find balance and synergy between these diverse forms of expression in your artistic journey?
I'm still learning. I am still learning how to balance everything. Like, I feel like sometimes I overwhelm myself because there's just so much.
So no balance.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, there's no balance. Like, and again, it depends on how I'm feeling. Like, I'm not feeling painting right now, like at all.
Oh, okay.
I haven't painted in like 2 months.
Right.
Or even maybe more. So it depends on like what I'm feeling at the moment. And it depends on the weather too. Like, I don't want to be painting right now. I want to be modeling. You know, I want to be
out there. And,
exactly. Yeah. So for me, it depends on a lot of things. But in terms of balance, I'm still learning how to balance everything. And at some point, I do want to have a healthy balance. It doesn't have to be perfect for me, but if I'm going to pour into things, then I don't want to abandon something, especially if it's kicking off and then I just like completely like shut it down, which is something that I do a lot. So I'm gonna try to be able to create like a healthy balance, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think you're at an age where that's a good thing.
Yeah.
To not have balance. It's totally fine. And you mentioned earlier that you were you got to have things figured out by 19 or someone said that or something, but I couldn't disagree more. Like, you're in your 20s, I think that's the time to take risks.
Yeah.
That's actually the time to not have it figured out and go for things.
Yeah.
You know, like, go paint, go model, go sing, go write a song, go do a dance, do a whatever, you know, go take a business course, try this job, try that job. Like, to me, that's great. Travel here, travel there, kind of. And I'm saying that from experience because I'm in a position and age where my responsibilities are very high.
Yeah.
So I'm actually now trying to take risks as well. But I'm trying to take really big risks right now, you know, and that's in consultation with Julie. Shout out to my wife, Julie. Julie. And, but, you know, I think there's different stages to life. And I think something I always hear Gary V say, do you know who that is? He's like a business speaker online and basically motivational speaker at this point. And he says a thing. He says, you got time.
Yeah.
You know? And he's like, what are you, 56 years old? You got time. You got nothing but time. What are you, 40? You got time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of turned into like a meme almost, like a joke.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I gotta pick up there.
So as you were talking, that's what I was picturing Gary Vee saying, like, you got
time.
Like, don't worry, you know, you just explore all the things. So I think you have it totally figured out by not being balanced.
Okay. That gives me some sort of comfort.
Yeah, you didn't know you were going to get that today, but here
I am. Got that.
Got it. So maybe we'll just do a few more of these questions and then and then Gabby's going to sing live. No, just kidding.
Who knows?
We'll see what happens. We've already done some freestyle rap.
Yeah. We've given you a little teaser.
Little tease. But we are going to post some links down below to Gabby's art.
Yeah.
Modeling. And things like that. Okay. You already answered this one, so skip to this one. Collaboration is an essential aspect of creativity.
Yeah.
Facts. How do you seek out and nurture partnerships with fellow artists, musicians, and designers to create impactful projects that resonate with your audience?
I think, like, for example, with you, and I don't think I know, you're the only person in the music world that and also Weejo, but like the
Shout out Weejo.
Mr. Weejo, the Weejo man. So yeah, like, you've been my first exposure to music, really. Like, my very first, well, actually no, my dad was my first like exposure. Like, we really love music.
Amazing.
I wrote a song with him when I was really young. Like,
wow.
Yeah,
does he play instruments and stuff?
No, he doesn't play instruments. He just loves music.
Okay,
is
cool.
all. Yeah. And he would create like CDs and DVDs for me so that I can get all my favorite songs on one like
disc. Right.
So I can just like sit in front of the TV and be like, all the time. But yeah, like
we used to call those mixtapes.
Mixtapes.
But then when it went to CDs, we call it mixed CD. But I still call it a mixtape. But
cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it depends on who you first start off with.
Yeah.
I think that influences what you do and how you put things out, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we share a lot of similar values and like images, of what we want to put out there. So I feel like that comes naturally with you and I in working together on music and stuff like that.
That's true. We never need to like navigate that space. It's just we know
it's there.
Yeah.
And depends on if you know the person too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like same with like modeling, if you know the brand, you know what to sort of expect.
Right.
And again, like it comes down to what you choose. Like I can choose to not work with this producer, but I can choose to work with you because I know you would share that, the similarities that, or the similar things that I share, want to put out there. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Okay, here's another one. And then we're almost done this chat GPT section. Okay, this is cool. Two more.
Okay.
Being a role model for young artists and dreamers. What advice would you give to those who are hesitant to pursue their creative passions and fear judgment or rejection? Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good one.
It's time for Gabby's advice.
I really don't consider myself a role model just yet because I don't think that I've put out enough. But I'm pretty sure there are a few that I guess look up to me, and one of those people is my brother, I know for sure. So when I think about, it's personal for me, like when I think about what I want to show or what I want to put on my socials or, give out to people, it has a lot to do with how I want my brother to like see life and to be treated. So for me, I just try to be as positive as I can. But my advice would be, it takes time and it's okay if you're not there yet, and it's baby steps. Like if you're interested in something, then you do things that you've in a space where you feel comfortable to first start out, and in a space where you can be like yourself. Because that's how I did it. Like I was in a place where I didn't think that there's a lot of things that I couldn't do, and even like being where I'm from or, not being a part of a social group or whatever it is that you think is going to hold you back, eventually you'll get there, and look at things that inspire you, look at positive things, like search up like positive stuff, or reach out to people that you can trust and people that give you support and just talk about it. Don't bottle it up in, because eventually you'll get to a place where you feel like you didn't do as much and, that kind of makes you feel bummed out. And I've been there too. I'm like, I don't think I can do it, or I don't think I have what it takes. But if you talk to people that you trust, they can see the potential in you too. And eventually you'll see the potential in yourself. So, and there's so many things that I'm still questioning about myself. I'm like, do I want to be a songwriter or do I want to be a singer? And I'm like, am I good enough? And
I remember you saying that.
Just the other day. I'm still there. There, but I talk to people that I trust, like you and like other people, like family and friends. Like you just have to like put the thought out there and trust that it will give you confirmation in like just talking about it. That's
powerful.
And in terms of like judgment, like that will be hard in your teenage years. Like it's one of the biggest things we think about, like, am I cool enough?
Totally.
But I feel like that comes with a sense of identity, like and bravery, and strength. So I feel like if you have some influences of that, or some influences to nurture that has nurtured it, I should say, then that you're golden. But then if you have to find that within whatever, whoever, then for sure go for it,
Yeah.
So, and don't be afraid to be judged. Like, you will be judged regardless,
Yeah.
I follow
That
a lot
is
of
true.
celebrities, and they're like, okay, I don't wear my hair up, people say I look like this. I wear my hair down, people say I look like this. Like, there's nothing that you can do that will 100% please anything or anyone. And I think that gives a bit of comfort, or a lot of comfort, actually. It's just like, you can't just be one thing, and not everyone will resonate or like that one thing.
Yeah, and you can't be making moves based on trying to please people.
Exactly.
Either, right? You got to be creating for doing something that you think is cool, something that you value and you love, and then detach yourself from it. And at least that's how I view it. And then you share it with the world, and then people will interact with it as they do, But it's if you approach it that way, then anything anyone says doesn't really faze you as much. Like, someone say, "Oh, that's the worst thing I've ever heard," and you're like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. I wonder what else you've heard and why you think that." Because I think it's cool.
Exactly.
And I'm also detached. It's like I was part of that process.
Yeah.
But that's not like my baby.
Yeah.
It's like
detachment's a big thing.
Yeah, and it's tough to get there.
At that age, at like between 11 and 18. I would say.
Yeah, that's
detachment is a lot to like get a handle up.
Yeah.
But I was watching this video yesterday, and it's this little girl, and her mom did her hair, and she came home and she's like, "Mommy, this person said something about my hair. They didn't like it." And I said, "I like it." And she had a little bit of sass.
Oh, amazing.
And I was like, that is me as a child.
That's what we all need.
Society brought my confidence out, you know what I mean? But like, keep on, like, and parents, like, just keep on encouraging your kids to be who they are, and to spread love and positivity, and it also comes from within, like at home. Like, that's our first form of socialization. It's primary socialization,
right. In the family.
In the family unit. So we all have work to do. It's just it.
Yeah, that's powerful, Gabs. Okay, last question. Stratford has a vibrant artistic scene.
It really does.
This is true. How do you see yourself contributing to this cultural tapestry and leaving a lasting legacy in the hearts of Stratford residents?
I honestly haven't figured that out yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. What that looks like for me, I don't know yet, because I just love to paint, and I haven't put anything like physically out yet, I'm still
of your painting.
And I'm still learning a lot. So I mean, I would post here and there if I'm proud of a piece. I'll post it and stuff like that, but I haven't put anything out yet. Do I want to? Of course. And I'm getting really close to that. So when that time comes, I do hope that I would be, I can feel opened and like brave enough, and just like, because it is nerve-wracking for me, because there's such greatness in the art world here in Stratford.
Yes.
So again, with the I don't know if I'm good enough kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
So it's just something that I always have to constantly work on to overcome. But I just, for me, it's a lot of colors, and I do want it to just be so bright, and like people must see that, and I want them to be like, oh, that's beautiful, or like that speaks to me in like a happy, jolly way, so yeah. That's
amazing. Well, I think I speak on behalf of Stratford when I say this. I'm eager to see what else emerges from your artistic journey. Very eager, and that it's very needed, and your voice is needed. Yeah, 100%. And I'm so grateful you joined me on this podcast today.
It was amazing.
Yeah, and we're going to put your Instagram on there so people can follow you. What's your Instagram name?
It's _melanin_dot_beauty_. Hey.
So you did a little performance.
A little something.
See, she performs even with her Instagram name. That was amazing.
Yeah. Melanin Beauty.
Melanin Beauty. There you go. Did you have any questions for me?
No, I ain't got no questions.
Amazing.
Not really. But this was really great. I feel like, when there's already like a friendship or, you were once my teacher.
Well, once a teacher, always a teacher. Let's be real. Okay.
That's true. There's definitely still lots of forms of respect there. But it made it really, not as complicated for me. And we got to touch on a lot of good topics.
Yes.
And I felt, thank you for this opportunity to voice my opinion on certain things. So, yeah.
I'm so happy you did.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for coming today, Gabby. And
Thank
I said, my hope is people follow your account and just watch what else you do.
Yeah.
My new thing is let's see what emerges.
What emerges?
In everything.
Yeah.
Because I used to try to make things happen, but now I'm I'm going to show up and do things and kind of observe. I'll have my goals, work hard to try and achieve them, but at the same time, I'm zooming out to see, okay, well, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And then change based on that, adjust,
Right.
without forgoing my values. So it's an interesting way to approach life. So that's how I hope people approach your art, is saying just let's see what emerges from Gabby.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm still waiting for the ukulele debut.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's taken me a while. So I'm trying to learn the uke. I'm trying, but it's taking me a while. Again, balance.
Shout out to Emily, my sister, for leaving her ukulele.
I love you.
See, it's full circle. She forgot to take it with her. And now you get to learn ukulele.
On M's ukulele.
Perfect.
Thank you, M's. Perfect.
Peace and love. Thanks for joining. See you next time.